let's get on to player ratings. We're going to start off with Big Vic. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. I mean, not really many takeaways from Vicario's performance. Sheffield United only had 1 shot on target, and I think it was a fairly easy one for Vicario to gobble up. He did catch a corner, I remember him doing, and I thought he was quite...
a long throw.
Oh, it was a long throw. But he was getting put under a bit of pressure at that time. So big up to him for that. But I know there's nothing much to take away from me for Vicario's performance. He was fairly untested.
Easy day for Vicario. I thought was better protected from his teammates and made 1 save. It was a simple day. Didn't have too much to do. Didn't have too much sweeping to do either. Majority of the game was played in Sheffield United's half because we had 76% possession. So easy day for Big Vic.
Yeah, someone just reminded me in the comments he did shove someone to the ground, which was good to see. Exactly. Pedro Porro up next. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 9. I thought he was brilliant. My man of the match. Created clear-cut opportunities for Spurs. Brilliant cross for Cuti Romero. Forced a really good save out of Wes Foderingham. Got his goal as well, which looked like a bit of a carbon copy goal from the Burnley goal a few weeks ago. But apart from that, he was just being a real nuisance in the Sheffield United side. They didn't really know how to deal with him at times.
Yeah, I thought he really showed his quality in the final third in this one with some brilliant crossing and shooting ability, which I think he has to utilise a lot more. I see him sometimes getting to that position where he did that shot yesterday from 25 yards and he nearly bent it into the far corner. I see him sometimes getting that position with time and space, and instead of taking the shot, he plays it out wide. And I'm thinking, when you've got as good a shot as Porro, you've got to be utilising that more. And I think that was 4 goals now in all competitions, which is pretty good for a right back. But this guy has potential to be at least 5 goal a season kind of player, and I really hope,
if not more,
potentially more as well. And I really hope he starts to utilise his quality even more, because I think he's got some of the best delivery and shot taking for defender in the league. So I'm really excited about the future with Pedro Porro. And I thought it was a top performance in Sheffield.
Yeah, Cuti Romero up next. 7s all round for Cuti. He did stay at home after the game from the Australian tour, which we need to find out why. But I thought he was, again, a really strong display from Cuti. Didn't really come under too much pressure apart from the first 10-15 minutes. But I thought what he did do defensively, he did pretty well. Won all his aerial duels on the day. He was aggressive, making tackles, interceptions, and he really should be ending this game with a goal.
Yeah, he obviously had that chance which he put wide. I think maybe, I don't know if the sun got in his eyes or something, because he just got it all wrong, that finish. And Cuti in that position, I know he's definitely been getting in more goal-scoring positions recently, because obviously he got that goal against Arsenal. He hit the post a few times. He's definitely becoming more of a goal threat. I think this season, was it 4 goals now this season? So I think that goes to show he's developing that element of his game. I think it's the end of a really solid, consistent season for Cuti. And I think this is probably one of his easier days.
Radu Dragushin up next. 7s all round from Radu. Had a shaky start to the game with a poor header that played in Ben Brereton Diaz at the back post. But I thought he grew from that after that. Countless amount of clearances. He got himself up the pitch as well with some quality. And I liked how confident he looked on the ball as well. So I was really happy with Radu's performance. And the most pleasing thing for me is the way he was backing up Vicario and really protecting him from those set pieces.
Yeah, I think nice, solid end to the season for him. Really encouraging that he's had ended the season with a couple of starts and hasn't looked out of place, and has actually started to improve the things that maybe he was looking weak on earlier in his performances. So looking a lot more comfortable on the ball, looking to drive the ball forward. Obviously defensively, he's very, very strong. Obviously had that slight mishap right at the beginning of the game, but didn't let that affect him. He kept going, and I thought ended up with a pretty solid performance.
Mickey van der Ven at left back once again. 7s all round for us. I thought defended well, got up the pitch on the other end and can't remember if it was actually an assist, but he was very heavily involved in one of the goals that we did score with some quality. So look, I thought every time he plays, he fills you with so much confidence, doesn't he? And with his physicality, with his pace, with his strength, I just love watching this man play.
100%. It was the first goal you're talking about. He wins the ball really high up the pitch on the touchline, keeps the ball in as well, and plays it into Sonny, who obviously played for Tedeki, which we scored. So that was a good piece of play from him. Obviously, didn't find himself in too many times by the byline, getting in those kind of positions that maybe Udogie would have got in more often. But you just feel so secure at the back when where he's playing left back or centre back. You know that he's like just an extra protection. He's like a safety blanket, isn't he? So I thought he played really well. Wasn't like I think it wasn't like a top performance, but was really, really solid, and again showed he's capable of playing that position.
Pape Matar up next, sevens all round for Pape, and I was pleased with his performance. I don't think he did anything spectacularly well, but what he does do is cover so much ground on the pitch, help our midfield take control of the game, and also of recent weeks in the past, probably the past month or so, or maybe a bit longer, he's been losing the ball and being a bit sloppy on the ball in certain situations, and I thought he kind of eradicated that mostly out of his game yesterday. So he did everything that he was called upon quite well.
Yeah, I think it was a solid game. Didn't do too many things wrong, but I don't think he did anything special. Wasn't really doing too much in the final third. I think he was doing well, just making sure that Tottenham sustained the pressure on Sheffield United and making sure he was always in the right position to win the ball back. I think it was a solid display. Wasn't one of his best, but didn't do too much wrong.
Bentancur up next, sevens all round for Rodrigo. Again, he's starting to get his fitness back. I think you can clearly see that. I think he was really aggressive and really combative in the middle of the park, winning all his duels on the ground and in the air. Could have had a goal on another day as well, where he hits the post with a really nice guided finish, wasn't it? That just about hit the post. So yeah, good display from Rodrigo, and I'm liking the way he's progressing now in his fitness.
Yeah, good end to the season for him, and I think a nice performance in this number 6 position, which he's played now a few times this season, but I think this was probably one of his better performances in that position, albeit against very weak opposition. What I like about him in that position is if he doesn't have to take a touch, he won't, and if he can see a first-time pass into a player in a good position to progress the ball, he'll do it. Whereas I feel like sometimes Basuma, whenever he gets the ball, he always has to take a few touches before releasing it, and that's what I liked from Bentancur's performance, that assuredness he had. As you say, he had that really nice effort from 25 yards where he culled it along the floor, hits the inside of the post, and very nearly got on the goal score sheet as well. So a nice solid ending, and hopefully next season we'll start to see the very best of him.
We go on to James Maddison next. Him gives him a 7. I gave him an 8, and I actually felt like this was probably his best display since coming back from his injury. We've been impressed with his uptick in performances in recent weeks. I still don't think it's maybe as good as the first 10 games, as I keep saying every week, but what he did do was consistently create chances. I think it was 5 key passes throughout the game. Again, a bit like Cuti Romero, should have had a goal when Sonny plays him through on goal. He goes one-on-one, a bit like a carbon copy of the last chance that he did have in the last game, which shows a bit of rust in front of goal. But I did think he was really creative and helped the team out massively.
Yeah, I think he had a really good game, and I think every time he got the ball, he was a threat. He'll be a bit disappointed because he got in a couple of really good goal scoring positions and didn't take full advantage of it. There was one where he's played in by Son, and his shot was comfortably saved by Foderingham. The other one where Son gets a cutback to him and his shot is blocked, and this one led to the second goal, so he won't be too disappointed. But he did get an assist on the day, really good cutback for Kulusevski to finish, really good run from Maddison, and I thought he was causing him no end of trouble with the chances he was creating as well. So nice final performance for Madders.
Brennan Johnson, 6s all round. Another one that should have had a goal on the day. He probably missed the biggest chance of them all. It seemed like a bit of an open goal at the time where he puts it wide, but yeah, I was a bit disappointed with Brennan, to be honest, because when you're looking at opposition like Sheffield United, you should really be in his position, taking the game by the scruff of the neck, getting good crosses in, getting in many goal-scoring positions, and adding a goal contribution to your game. Did he get an assist on the day? He did get an assist, but I mean that was all Porro with a wonder strike. So I think Brennan will be a bit disappointed, but I think he was anonymous for large parts of that game, but he did grow into it a little bit towards the end. But it's not enough. I want to see Brennan Johnson, put his imprint on games, and he just didn't do that.
Yeah, it wasn't his best display on that right hand side. He was kind of getting on the ball a bit, but not enough for a player, in his position in this kind of game where you want him to be a bit relentless taking on his man. He just wasn't able to get on the ball enough. He had obviously those 2 big moments, the pullback to Porro, who scored, and then he had that big miss, which he couldn't keep it down. It was a very simple, well, not a simple finish because the ball was quite high, but he'll be disappointed he wasn't able to get over the ball, and he should be finishing that chance. So it wasn't his best display, but look, ends the season with 15 goal contributions. So I think he'd be arguing it was a pretty positive first season for him.
Yeah, absolutely. 10 assists in the Premier League in your first season in a completely new system, which is completely different to the wing role that he was playing at Nottingham Forest. So it's got to be impressive.
Only two players in the whole Premier League got more than him.
Yeah,
So
which is impressive.
Third highest assist in the whole league.
Yeah, you got to give him credit. You got to give him credit. Look, he does go missing in certain games from time to time. Well, maybe more often than we would like. But when you're looking at purely the numbers, you've got to say he's had a good season.
Yeah, and I think he'll grow even more once he gains more confidence. And hopefully, he's got certain attributes which are very hard to deal with, that raw pace. And when he's got that ball across the face of goal down pat, which he seems to be getting more consistently, that's a very hard thing to stop. So I expect even more goal contributions next season.
Yeah. Heung-min Son, our captain, up next. 8 all round for Sonny. A really different Sonny performance than we've seen in recent weeks, where he's found it hard to get into games in recent weeks, but this game he was controlling everything. So many chances that he was creating. I haven't seen him be so creative for so long, and it was such a great sight to behold. Outside of the boot passes in behind, which was brilliant. The way he was able to beat Sheffield United men, I thought was brilliant. 5 key passes on the day. He kind of saved his best till last for the second half of the season, because I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, I think a really solid end to the season, a really, really strong performance. Every time he got on the ball, he looked to make something happen. Sheffield United really couldn't deal with him. But it wasn't just his ability to take them on, get to the byline, which caused a lot of opportunities. It was that he actually used his quality and his delivery. Obviously set up the assist for the first goal for Kulu, set up another one for Maddison, who should have scored. He set up the chance for Brennan as well at the back post, who should have scored. So on the end of the day, he'll be disappointed. Also, he forced an unbelievable save out of Foderingham as well, who had to fingertip it wide. So I think at the end of the day, he's on another day he would be sitting here with a goal and more than one assist, but this unfortunately probably let down by his teammates finishing. Yeah, absolutely. And last but not least in the starting 11 is Dejan Kulusevski playing in the 9, and we're giving him 9s. 2 goals on the day. First one was absolutely brilliant. The way he shifted, shot in the far corner, kissed the post and went into the back of the net. The second one was a good instinctive finish, but I felt the keeper should have done a bit better with that one. But look, credit to him. He shot, he got the ball in the back of the net. He was a nuisance in their side. His movement was great. His physicality was great. He really showed his strength in that position. And look, like we said in the match review, I don't think he's the answer, but he definitely gives us another option. Yeah, I think that's a position which I think profile-wise it makes sense that he would do well in. He was able to take the ball into feet, use his physicality to hold off defenders, use his striking ability as well near the goal, which he showed for both goals. Really good ability to find the back of the net. The first one was super clinical, and the second one was a really good striker's finish with his movement, making sure he's running ahead of the defender to get there first, and opened up his body well and got the finish into the far corner. Yeah, Foderingham got a touch on it, but it's a really good striker's finish. And I thought throughout the day he was picking up awkward positions for Sheffield United, and also created 2 chances on the day as well. And I thought nearly got a third if it wasn't for Foderingham. So really top display from Decky in that position. Unfortunately, it's hard to know where his future lies, because you can't base that off one game against Sheffield United. But I would, in theory, hypothetically, like to see him in that position more often. Yeah, particularly coming on late in games in that position against tired backlines and using that physical presence. I think it can really be a value to us. We're not going to rate any of the subs because, Højbjerg came on just after we scored our 3rd goal and the game was essentially dead by then. I don't think any of the subs made too much of an impact. So we're going to go straight into Ange Postecoglou. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 7. It's hard to rate Ange Postecoglou for this one because you are playing bottom of the league, 100 goals conceded or 101 before the game. And any team that he should have put out yesterday probably should have won the game and probably would have won the game. But what he did do, he changed it up. Kulusevski went up front, which was definitely a difference maker in terms of quality in front of goal. Van der Ven stuck to his role at left back, which I thought impacted the game really well. But I guess the only thing you could say about Ange Postecoglou is, first of all, he gives chances to the youth. Dane Scarlett and Mikey Moore come on, which was really good to see. I would have liked them to see a bit more time than come on in the 88th minute, because the game was essentially done with half an hour to go. So I don't understand why he brought on the likes of Emerson Royale and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg when Dane Scarlett, Jamie Donnelly and Mikey Moore just waiting there in the wings when the game was all but won. So I would have liked to see them come on a bit sooner.
But you got to say it's a good starting block, first season under Ange. We finished 5th, European football back, so a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, I think he managed the game well. Obviously, made the right decisions from a team selection perspective. I think Van der Ven back at left back and Dragshin centre back gave us that solidity that we needed. I thought Decky in the number 9 was a good decision as well. I thought he saw enough in that 20-minute cameo against City where he thought, I'm going to put him straight from the start in this game. I think the big disappointment from the subs bench is they pulled Jamie Donnelly out of under-21s and didn't give him any minutes. So that was a bit of disappointment. But other than that, I thought he managed the game really well.
Yeah, it's also with this Australia trip, it's a strange decision for me to take so many of the under-21 squad when they've got a cup final next weekend to win the league. I think that's a very strange decision, but is what it is.
I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a strange decision, but maybe being with the first team is more important.
Well, we'll see how that pans out. But, yeah, that is our player ratings from the 3-0 win against Sheffield United.